Alright, so I start with the bottom section. Anytime you style any type of curls, you should always do it in sections. So I'm going to spray it down with the hot water again, because our hair is known for drying up very quickly. So first product I'm going to be using is Up North Naturals Go-To Hydrating Milk. It's awesome. And so I'm going to go through and rake it through your hair. And go to your next section. And notice I have not used any brushes or combs, because you should really try to finger detangle your hair for sure. It's safer.
Okay.
So, so far I've only put in the Go-To Hydrating Hair Milk.
So
Secondly,
that's the L?
Yep.
Okay.
This is the L, the leave-in, and the LOC method. Next, I'll be using the 8 oil blend. This is the O, and I'm just going right on top. Smoothing your hair down as I go through. Now I'm gonna go in with her 8 oil defining jelly. Now this jelly, it's oil based, which is awesome. It's gonna give you a nice sealed hold on your hair. So kind of like when coconut oil is in its solid form, you see it's like white. So that's how this is gonna look on your hair. But when it dries, all of this is gonna disappear. Like you're not gonna see any of this. So I'm just like taking a smaller section, raking my fingers through, and then letting it coil up. And I'll show you a little better when I get to the front. And yeah, I'm smoothing it pretty aggressively because we want your hair to, we want your curls to stick together and be nice and defined. Next section, I'm gonna wet it down. I'm just doing the same thing, the hair milk, then the oil, and then the curl defining jelly. And everything that I'm doing, you will be doing on wash day. So if your wash day is once a week, then you do this on that day. If you can do it twice a week, even better.
Do you recommend washing your hair twice a week?
If you can, yeah, because you'll have nice fresh curls. The longer you go without washing your hair, the more tangled it's going to be when you go to wash it. And you're going to have a lot more hair falling out, and it'll freak you out. Which a lot of it is normal, that you have a lot of hair falling out after a week of not going in and thoroughly detangling your hair. So this is still the hair milk. I'm really just trying to make sure your hair is taking it in as best as possible. Now I'm going to go in with the 8 oil. And now the jelly. almost. Okay, so next section, I'm gonna wet it down with some hot water again. Now, while your hair was wet at the bowl, I did start to put some of that hydrating milk in it.
Okay.
Because I know your hair is gonna dry up so quickly. Right. So I tried to put some in it right away. Now I'm going through and kind of putting more because if it like looks dry, this ain't gonna work. Right. Yeah. So you're gonna have to go ahead and make sure it's nice and saturated with the go-to hydrating hair milk first, and then you want to put the oil in. And at the same time, I'm making sure your hair is nice and detangled, because if we want your curls to be defined, they got to be detangled and laying where it should be.
So it doesn't seem like too much, because essentially you're saying a lot of it can be done in the shower.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Just like a longer
pretty
shower.
Sure. Yeah, pretty much. And I tell people all the time that make sure you've taken the time out on that day to do this right. Don't do a half job on your wash and go, because it's not gonna last you, it's not gonna look right, and you're not gonna like how it looks. So it's gonna be a waste of products. You know, when you don't apply these things right, you're not gonna like it. So you gotta make sure you take the time out. And that doesn't mean it's gonna take you a whole hour. This can take you easily like 10 minutes to style your hair. And then I highly suggest sitting under a hood dryer to get your hair fully dry. Okay. Or if you gotta air dry, do what you gotta do. But just don't touch it while it's air drying. It's just the products are all wet and stuff. So like, and it's gonna appear white. But don't fear, because it will dry up totally fine.
So then I should invest in like a hooded dryer.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. And that's gonna benefit you forever. Like, in the cold weather, you don't have to walk out with a wet head.
That's true.
So I mean, you can find them on Amazon. They're like hard hat ones. They're not expensive. So really, really, really good investment.
So do you diffuse type 4 hair or no?
No, I don't.
There's no point.
Nope, exactly right. So I say, instead of investing in a blow dryer and a diffuser, which runs like $60, get you a good hood dryer. Okay. Because diffusing encourages that curl. Okay. You don't need any more encouragement to your curls. Okay. Unless you wanted more encouragement, which is gonna result in more shrinkage. You don't need to. So you sit under a hood dryer, it's gonna speed up the air drying process basically. Okay. Just have it on a warm setting, and the better the hood dryer, the quicker you're gonna get dry. Alright, so this section here, I'm gonna give you this mirror so that you can see what I'm doing up under this. Here you go. First thing I'm gonna do, add water to it. Okay. Then again, I'm gonna go in with the go-to hydrating hair milk. We want your hair to lay. We don't want it to be all over the place. We want your hair to lay down. So you want to rake downwards. Okay. And this is also going to help elongate your hair. So don't ever like scrunch your hair when you're doing this or anything like that. You don't need to do any of that, because your hair will coil up regardless. So we want to make sure that we're elongating your hair. Now I'm going to go in with the oil. Now, which way do you want your hair to fall? In the middle or to the side?
Probably to the side.
Which side? This way or this way?
Yeah, this one.
This way, okay. So you want to make sure that you pull this way and
Okay.
pull this way if you want it to be here.
Okay.
And then if you wanted it to be in the middle, part it in the middle. If you want it on this side, make sure you're pulling it in the direction you want it to fall.
Okay.
Now lastly, I'm going to go in with the 8 oil defining jelly. And same thing, just rake through. Now this jelly, again, it's oil based. So now you're going to start seeing, when I go through, I'm like raking my fingers through, they're closed, see? Then it's creating definition.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so this is what's gonna help clump those curls together because I'm like smoothing it through. And you don't want to over smooth it. If you over smooth it, it's gonna create these little white balls and it's not gonna be as defined. So you wanna just kind of like take it, cake through it. Rake through, and this is why you want to make sure your hair is nice and detangled. So you can just kind of slide right through, and then make sure the ends have enough on it as well. Let's see. I'm like inside, making sure I'm gliding through. And I'm trying to separate it too because I don't want them to be too big and chunky. But either way, if they are chunky, then you can always separate them once it dries.
Okay.
So look, I'm really trying to make sure we're smoothing it. Okay, this is gonna help reduce frizz and create more definition. So smooth, make sure your ends. Can you see how styling is so important for your hair to be defined?
Yeah.
If you don't style it right, it's not gonna be as defined as it should be. And knowing how to apply the products, because you can have the right products and not know how to apply it, and it seems like the problem is the product.
The products when it's really
Not applying it correctly. It's like, I won't color hair if I feel it's gonna jeopardize your curl. It's just not worth it to me, you know. All right, you can come on over here.